Hi there, how you doing? It's been a bit. It's come to my attention that I have not done a Con Stories video since November of 2022. Now looking back, I realized that a lot of people actually really enjoyed that series, so I decided why not bring it back? I do have a few plans for upcoming episodes. It's just a matter of me sitting down and actually filming them. This one's not as lighthearted as the other ones that I've done. However, it's a story and it's a wild one and I really want to share it. So we're going to go back in time today and we are going to revisit my Mettaton phase. This was the second and last cosplay picnic I ever went to for obvious reasons. And if you stick around, you will soon learn those reasons. So if that sounds like something you're into, keep on watching. My Mettaton phase. My Mettaton phase. I remember Undertale being the biggest thing in 2015, 2016. In honor of today's video, I'm actually sporting one of my Undertale shirts. It's the only one I could find. It's huge on me, but let me see if I can mess around with my stuff to show you. 2016 in itself was a really weird and difficult year for me. I did go through 2 losses. I had a huge struggle with coming to terms with my sexuality and also forged really toxic relationships with both people in my life and on social media. Yeah, we'll get into that some other time, but you can probably infer that since I was in a very popular fandom, there was a lot of pressure put on us to be the best. Going forward, I'm gonna do my best to, you know, sprinkle in some dark humor here and there, because what is life if not coping through humor, right? This cosplay picnic took place at Toronto's Center Island. It was held in mid-July and it was hot as hell. Now, as I mentioned, I was struggling with interpersonal relationships and how to kind of deal with the people who maybe weren't the best fit for me. So it was kind of a really awkward time because most of these aforementioned people were in attendance that day. I was kind of the odd one out, and I was realizing that maybe these people weren't the best to hang around, didn't really have the best intentions, didn't really have values that aligned with my own. Not bad people, I mean some of them were. I do think there is something to be said about throwing a bunch of socially illiterate people in a room together, or in this case an island. Now going into it, I knew that I had to pick a costume that I would feel confident in and also be comfortable in physically. It was going to be really hot. Contrary to popular belief, Canada is very hot in the summer. Basically, I did a lot of searching around, deciding what I wanted to do. Obviously, it was going to end up being Mettaton because that's basically all I did that year. I decided to cosplay an AU version of Mettaton, alternate universe for those who don't know. This was the Wasteland Fell AU, and it was by Queen Natty, or Queen Natty. Either or, sorry if I butchered that. This version of Mettaton was essentially a sexed up Mad Max version of Mettaton, and I fucking loved it. Also, side note, while I was looking at pictures of this day, I actually came across a picture of me out of cosplay. That was also the year that I was blonde and got horrible chemical burn. So day of, get up early, get on the train to Union, and get off in Toronto. For those of you who don't know, Center Island is literally an island and you need to take a ferry to get to it. So transit had already been a mess. I was not having fun because I forgot my choker at home. And I was very disappointed with myself for that because that was one of my favorite parts of the entire thing. I was already kind of not having a good time, and I get to the line for the ferry and it's more of a blob than anything else. I really should have just turned around, but you know, I was already there, had people in my ear, and I was like, okay, let's just stick it out. It could be fun. So when I got onto the ferry, I somehow found seating and I proceeded to take this $30 lipstick I had and I painted my choker on. Like, it actually photographed really well. I was surprised. And I did that all with just the little wand. Now, the design wasn't too intricate, obviously, but I was battling motion sickness actively. So once I actually got to the island, it was boiling. It was absolutely boiling. Even with the minimal clothes I had on, I also had face paint on, and I also had electrical tape wrapped around my arms, which I got a very nice tan, and it was incredibly difficult to get off. It hurt a lot. I think I bruised myself. So fast forwarding to the event, it was just like the other cosplay picnic where you just hung out, took photos. Something cool about this event though, it was one of the first times that I actually wore a costume that showed off my David Bowie tattoo, so I was very happy about that. I don't think I mentioned this before, but this was also only a few months out from when I had broken my foot, so I did wear better shoes that day just in case. There would be no way my mom would be able to drive across the lake to come and get me. But of course, it wouldn't be one of the worst times I had at an event if there wasn't one final nail in the coffin. Let me grab my mic for this. A bird fucking shit on my bag while I was waiting in line for the ferry. Now, I'm gonna share this simply because it's relevant, and I also want to start being more open about it. When I was younger, I was diagnosed with, and still currently struggle with, a severe form of contamination OCD. This would have been a laughing matter for any other person, or maybe many other people. I don't know. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but this is how I felt. So if my reaction seems a little intense, that is what I struggle with. So it's involuntary. It's not something I can control. Like I mentioned, that was the final nail in the coffin, and I completely broke down, and I had a panic attack in line waiting for the ferry. I was crying. I cried off a lot of my makeup. I thought my contacts were gonna fall out of my eyes. I was actually trying to make a joke afterwards about how I didn't need to put in eye drops because my eyes were already moist enough. I tend to make jokes when I'm around people who don't really understand it and who don't really know how to react other than just laugh about it. And that is what happened. Luckily, someone took pity on me and helped me out, but most of the people weren't really, receptive to it. And I don't blame them for that. It's a thing. Sucks, but yeah, I got home. I got home, thankfully. I'm here now, so that one was a rough one. There's no sugarcoating it, honestly. I mean, I looked hot. I guess I can say that, right? Like, my costume looked good, so I guess that's a win. Not every event is going to go as planned, and you're not always going to have a good time in cosplay. Sometimes it's very stressful, and it makes you not want to do it ever again. But you will get through it, and we're here, however many years later, still cosplaying and sharing this story. Wow, I just admitted to a really personal part of my life on YouTube, so I guess some good did come out of it. I do hope you enjoyed the video regardless. If you did, please leave a like and a comment down below letting me know your thoughts. Please subscribe if you're interested in seeing more, and turn on the notifications if that's something you're into. With that all said, I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.